Jordan Peterson, I'm not anti-feminist. What he really says. Jordan Peterson is one of the most discussed public intellectuals in the world, and many people label him as anti-feminist. However, Peterson has repeatedly stated in interviews, lectures, and books that he is not against women and not against feminism as a whole. The controversy comes from the difference between what he actually says and how some media outlets portray him. Peterson explains that he fully supports women's rights, legal equality, and equal opportunity. He believes women should have the freedom to study, work, lead, and build the lives they choose. In fact, he has often said that societies function best when both men and women are strong, competent, and respected. What Peterson criticizes is ideological or radical feminism, which he argues makes several claims that are not supported by scientific evidence. One of his biggest concerns is the idea that all gender differences are created entirely by society. Peterson often cites research from psychology, biology, and neuroscience showing that men and women, on average, tend to have different personality traits, interests, and career preferences. For example, in countries like Norway and Sweden, where men and women have almost perfect equality, gender differences in career choices become even stronger, not weaker. Peterson uses this to argue that some differences come from biology, not only culture. Another key point in Peterson's argument is the difference between equality of opportunity and equality of outcome. He supports equality of opportunity, giving men and women the same rights, freedom, and treatment. But he opposes equality of outcome, forcing identical results in all fields, such as having 50% men and 50% women in every career. He believes forcing outcomes is not fair and not realistic, and can even reduce freedom for both genders. Peterson also talks about how modern gender debates sometimes label men as toxic, simply for being masculine. He argues that healthy masculinity is necessary for families and society, just like healthy femininity is. His message is that the goal should not be to weaken men or women, but to allow both to develop strength, responsibility, and competence. A major reason why Peterson is controversial is that many media outlets take his comments out of context, or use short clips without explaining the full meaning. This has led people to misunderstand his ideas, assuming he is against women or feminism in general. However, in longer interviews and his books, he clarifies that he is not opposing feminism itself, but rather ideological extremes that reject science or freedom of choice. In summary, Peterson's real position is more nuanced than the label anti-feminist. He supports equality, women's rights, and scientific understanding of gender. He encourages women to be strong and capable, and he believes society works best when both men and women take responsibility and use their potential. His criticism is directed not at women, but at certain ideological claims that he believes oversimplify human nature. This is why he says, "I'm not anti-feminist, I am anti-radical ideology."